pop out right now, put my big one on these hoes down. I'm not acrobatic, I'm not flipping on my bros. No, all my shit be factual, I cannot get it stolen. Real talking stick, I catch a bitch before I catch a cold.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to a very special episode of Zone 6. We have with us Oregon State DB Kitan Oladapo. He finished with the best overall, defensive grade in PFF, 79.9, which ranked, first in the, amongst all returning safeties in Pac-12 and sixth, nationwide. So congrats on the big one yesterday. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good, a little beat up. We had an off day today, so just some treatment, going over film, getting ready for next week.
That's what's up.
And yeah, I'll go from there. Coming from a Nigerian household, the main sport is soccer, football. Football is usually number one. So, I know you played many sports growing up. Cash was goalkeeping for a long time. So when did American football come into the picture? At what point did you realize that's the one you wanted to pursue?
Yeah, I played soccer, baseball, basketball growing up. I stopped playing soccer 5th grade, and then my dad actually stuck me out for American football. My mom didn't want me to play, so my dad secretly signed me up. We didn't tell my mom until after picture day when I brought all my pads home. So 6th grade was my first time playing American football. It's really, a lot of my friends were playing American football, not really playing soccer, and I always loved watching it, and I thought I'd be good at it. So I'm sorry I had to put soccer down. I did love soccer. I played striker and defender. I played rugby in high school. My junior and senior year, I played for a club team in the spring, and that was actually really fun. Rugby was really fun.
What position did you play?
I was a wing my junior year, the first year playing, and then I played. I was scrum half.
Okay,
yeah.
I would guess either flank or center, but wing I can kind of see wing. But yeah, Uche, over to you.
But scrum half, it was a lot of running, but it was fun though. It was fun. You get the ball a lot. Our team was not good, but it was fun.
Yeah. I always wondered about that transition between rugby and football, and I always told him yo, if y'all really nice at rugby, you should try your hand in football. But speaking of the Nigerian background, it's great to see talents we all we both from Lagos, Nigeria. It's great to see talents through the NFL Africa. You see that program, it gives Jason Godric is somebody he signed for the Chiefs in the practice squad over the summer. So what's your take on the whole idea of NFL Africa, and how important is it for the NFL to be able to give kids in Africa the opportunity to portray their talents?
I think it's big, and I think just across football, even in college, international players getting bigger and bigger. We're getting more international players from Sweden, even Australian. Yeah. There's a lot of Australians coming over that played rugby, and I think rugby. You have to be really good at tackling in rugby. If you're a sure tackler in rugby, you're going to be good in football because you ain't got no pads. So you can't just go in there and just butt people down, just try to headhunt the whole time. So you really have to be a sure tackler. So I think that technique crosses over. But it was always funny in high school. Some people on my football team were bad at football, but they were good at rugby. So I never really understood that. But as far as bringing football to Africa and Nigeria, that's really a goal of mine. When I go to the NFL, I want to start doing camps in Nigeria. Bring gear over there because I think that's the biggest
that's what's up,
thing
man.
that American football has is that they have the money to buy all the pads, and we have all the turf field and stuff like that and the cleats.
Yeah.
So I think a big thing is bringing camps over there, bringing a whole bunch of gear over there to get kids start playing.
Yeah, that's what's up.
I think just to add to that, I think Nigerians are almost built for American football. Uche, when we're playing football, we talk about gra. Nigerians know how to hustle. that translates to football really well. So I think for me, it was Uche always says it to me that why didn't I play American football? But at uni, it's just not that big of a thing in the UK. But if the opportunity is there, obviously more people, it triggers something to go more into it. So that makes sense. But yeah, Uche, over to you for the next question.
Yeah. So were you always a DB? Did you ever play any other positions growing up?
Yeah, when I first started in 6th grade, I was a receiver and running back. I
Ooh.
played linebacker. I played middle linebacker my 6th grade.
Ooh.
It was really fun. And then 7th and 8th grade, I played receiver and running back again. And then I switched to corner my 7th grade year. And then in high school, I was a receiver. I was small though. My freshman year, I was 5'6", 135, 140. Yeah, I was tiny. I didn't hit 6 foot until my junior year. So
Yeah.
going into my sophomore year, I finally hit a growth spurt. I was 5'10", and I was playing running back on JV, getting a little burn. But I wanted to play corner, so I really wasn't taking running back seriously, which I regret.
Yeah.
I wish I would have taken it seriously because running back is really fun. And then junior year is when I really took corner seriously. I thought that
Yeah.
that's where I get the most playing time in high school, and then actually be able to develop, because everyone wants to play receiver, in high school. And we didn't really throw the ball how a receiver should get the ball like in high school. So I switched to corner my junior year, and then going into my freshman year of college, they switched me to safety. So then I started playing safety. And at first, I didn't want to play safety. You're in the box. You're going against tight ends,
Yeah.
more tackling. I just wanted, let me just go cover someone and get some picks. Like, that was fun to me. And then I finally, my sophomore, junior year, is like, okay, I could really be good at safety. I really have a body for it. Put some weight on. And I love safety. Safety's fun. You can do everything. You guard slots, you guard tight ends, you go blitz. You're in the post. So I love safety. It's really fun.
Yeah. Listen, man. You just corner yourself, because we about to ask you a great question. You feel me?
Yeah.
Last week here in Zone 6, we had a really huge argument, right? We got into it. I was on your side, bro. I just want you to know, we decided we argued corner versus receiver, right? So it's funny that you said that you started as a receiver. So the argument was, which one is harder? So your boy right here, he said that receiver is harder. You got to talk to him about that. Family does. You got to really smack him. I said that corner was harder. So tell him why he's wrong. Nah, actually, what's your take on the topic?
I agree with you. Corner is the hardest position to play in football. Corner is the hardest. Quarterback is
Why?
probably the mentally you have to know the most at quarterback.
Yeah.
Offensive lineman, defensive lineman, that's the physically most demanding. Like, you
Yo.
can't be small and be a defense or offensive lineman, because you got to need to move people. You need to hold gaps. So you have to be big to be. But physically covering, think of like Tyreek Hill. All the fastest people play receiver. So you're guarding the fastest people, the shiftiest
I
people.
said that. I told him that, man.
And but you're going backwards. You're going backwards. You're going backwards, and it's all reaction. It's all reaction. I'm reacting off of this guy. I don't think it's. I would say it's easy. It's easy to get open against the DB if you really think about it. Especially in the red zone where you don't have a lot of time. This much separation, a quarterback can fit the ball in. You could be open. So corner is definitely the hardest position to play in football.
Yo, listen, before I'm gonna let him go to ask the next question, but just to add to it, right? You talking about reaction. Listen, the QB and the receiver, they practice together. They have the plays on lock. As a DB, you reacting to what they already know they doing, and he could just stop on a dot and just fuck you up, man. Excuse my French. And he could just mess you up, and you gonna be like, and you could just, you know what I'm saying? So that was really my take. But
It's tough. Yeah, double moves, and a lot
Right.
of times once you start getting to college, some offensive schemes, it's literally just, all right, if the DB's outside leverage, run this. DB's inside leverage, run that. Oh, you're running a go and he's on top, just sit it down. Oh, he's below you, just convert it to a fade. So there's so many things that they can do even off the snap. So it's really reaction. Yeah, they know the route they're gonna run. They know how many steps they got to take, this many yards. The ball's gonna come out right here. And DB is definitely the toughest. Corner's really tough.
So I won.
Yeah.
I
And
haven't got much to
good
say. My
corner,
thinking was it's easier to disrupt than create. It's the same in football. If you set up a back four and a goalkeeper, it's easier to just kick the ball away and just disturb than actually, link up play, stuff like that. And for obviously, I understand when you say it's obviously the moving backwards thing is a very big factor because the
Yeah,
moment you
bro.
turn your hips to follow him, if he stops on a dime, you're done.
Done.
He's gained yards. It's done. So like, I'm not saying it's easy. By no means am I saying cornerback is an easy position to play because it's like it translates to rugby. Like whenever you're one-on-one with a man, they can step, they can try run through, they can do anything. You're just at their mercy essentially. Because when you're attacking, the defender is always wrong. Basically, you just respond to what they do. So like, I understand, but I was just thinking like the same way you mentioned the Tyreek Hill. The difficulty of playing cornerback is based on how talented the receiver or quarterback is, which I don't think is a slight at the position by any means. But that was my thinking. It may be an offensive bias because I don't think defensive players get enough credit just off the bat. Anyway, like even when I was looking for highlights, I was struggling because they don't record. Obviously, they record the number, but they don't record videos of tackles or pass breakups the same way as completions. So when you look at the top players in the NFL, Justin Jefferson just got ranked number 2 in the whole NFL. And that's because of the release speed. Like being a great receiver, I feel like it's such an art and such a difficult thing to do. And I'm sort of leaning towards you, but I'm trying to stand my ground.
I will say, like, at least for soccer, definitely it's harder to be a striker than it is to be a defender. I will agree on that. For defense, for receiver, you could drop all the balls all game. If you catch the one touchdown, game and touchdown, you had a great game. Corner, you could strap him all game. He has nothing.
But
he
one
catches
play,
the ball at the end of the game, you had a terrible game. I
agree because Uche is a big Jalen Ramsey guy, and we have an NFL group chat. And every time Jalen Ramsey has a bad play, everyone just starts chatting. Nobody talks about when we didn't even see him because he locked down his receiver, so they didn't even get the ball. No one, because we're not shown that, so we're kind of conditioned to what we see.
Yeah.
So I do understand. There's an innate bias, like straight off the bat. So I agree. That defensive players, they don't get
in some personnels. Like a receiver can run a fade. He can go. They could sub to a different personnel. They'll bring some tight ends because they're going to run the ball next play. The DB stays out there the whole time. Receivers sub during a series. DBs do not sub. They're out there the whole time. So you could have just been the worst feeling. I know you guys are going to touch on this later. One of the worst feelings is I got ran on an inside fade. He just ran inside fade. Very tough route to guard. It's harder to guard slots than it is on the outside because so much more space. He ran the inside fade. He's jogging off the field. I'm jogging back to line. There's a fresh new receiver lined up already, and you're just like, bruh. Fresh legs. He good. He in the stance already. True. You already know the play. I'm jogging back. So that, and then literally you can get burned next play. Oh, this DB's not good, blah, blah, blah. So I think it's tough, man. And it is tough to be.
The stakes are high for you because I do accept that. I think drops obviously a big thing. Like when DeAndre Hopkins, when he season without a drop, he got the praise because that's crazy. A whole 7 or 16 games at the time that drop. But I do understand the stakes are higher for a defensive player because if you excuse my language, if you fuck up, it's a touchdown. It's that simple. It's a big game. It's a first down. So I do understand. Obviously, I respect your grind, so I'm not going to disrespect you and say quarterback is a because it's not true. But I think I was the next question. So you sort of mentioned the inside fade being the hard route to guard, and I'll sort of stay on that sort of length. What was your sort of welcome to the NCAA moment? A moment where it was like you either got cooked or you forgot a play, or in practice you're kind of like, okay, like I have to up my level mentally and physically. Was there any moment where it was like, okay, like this is real?
When I first got to college, my first practice, you just realize the tempo. The tempo is so fast. Practice is supposed to be harder than games. So you just realize, we're going to this period, we're doing this. And then even in team periods, guys are moving so fast because they know what they're doing. Veterans, sometimes they don't always have the most athletic ability, but they know what's going on. They know the formations. They know what plays is going to happen. So they play fast. We always say that some guys are faster than others, but this guy plays fast. He's confident. He reads his keys and, he makes plays. So I think definitely, and then getting to college, you see, dang, everyone's big. Everyone's huge, yoked up. They in the weight room throwing up hella weight. You're like, wow. So that was probably the first things I saw, at least practice-wise. My NCAA moment was my sophomore year when I got in because I redshirted my freshman year. I got in against Stanford. It was a big personnel package. I was like a big corner. It's the goal line against Stanford. Stanford has a lot of big tight ends, big O-line. They trying to run the ball. and I go in, and I run out on the field, and I'm just like I'm nervous, and there's a tight end out there, and I'm running out, and I look at the corner. The corner's like, all right, I got him. All right, I'm running over, and they're about to line up, and I didn't even look back for the play. That's how nervous I was. So I'm lining up. I didn't even look back because you're supposed to look back. You look at the coordinator. He gives you the signal, blah, blah. You get the call. Then you line up. I didn't even look back. So I'm lining up. I'm like, dang, I didn't even know what to do. I asked him, hey, what's the call? What's the call? He said some blah, blah, blah. Gibberish. I don't even know what he said. I'm like, oh, yo. Then hike, they snap the ball. They pitch it away from me. So I'm just running. I'm running to the pitch. As I'm running over, I just see two safeties. Boom, boom. They just run past me. I'm like, oh, I'm going the wrong way. So it was a reverse. They pitched it and they threw it back to the receiver. The quarterback leaked out. They threw it to the quarterback for a touchdown. And I was like, yeah, that was probably a big moment. That was like, yeah, I messed up. I messed up. Like,
what coach said to you?
They wasn't really mad at me because I was a new guy. He was really mad at the veterans that they didn't make the play on the ball, but it technically wasn't my play to make. But like I should have helped. And then that's just when I realized film study and just knowing what the offense is trying to do to you is so important. Football is really situational. So offense on first and second, they're going to run certain plays on first and second down. Once they get to third down, they have set calls, set plays that they like to go to. Third and short, they'll probably run the ball. Third and medium, they have certain concepts. Third and long, they have certain concepts. So it's really knowing the situation, really like paying attention to, they're on this hash. They're in trips to the field. They like running flood or sail. So it's really just some small keys that you can pick up on. That's just, attention to detail just became really big, and just small things that really to take your game to the next level.
That's great. I've got two questions based off what you said. One is the physical side. You sort of mentioned the level up in conditioning and like moving weight. How important do you think it is? Because Uche is sort of the opinion that obviously weightlifting is valuable, but it's also important that you're sort of working out outside as well and doing practical drills that help with your sport. So how do you sort of balance obviously getting stronger in the conditioning with actually, doing footwork drills, doing ladder drills, lateral movement, stuff like that outside the gym? What's the sort of balance in terms of the physical work? Because you see people like Nick Chubb just squatting like 500 pounds, like
Saquon Barkley. I would say at first for like freshmen going in there, it's just you need just to get as big as possible. Get as big as possible to where you don't lose your speed. There's a lot of, and you just need to know your body. So I think when you have a good strength coach, they'll give you movements that like clean and jerk. That's good for explosion, for tackling, squats, getting your legs right, bench, for lineman punching, getting off the line, good tackling. I would say once you get to a strong, heaviest weight you could possibly be without losing your speed, at least for like skill players, get to heavy as possible without losing speed. That's when you start working on, flexibility, mobility, and then your footwork. You work on your footwork and, your day-to-day breaks, breaking on the ball. If you're a receiver, your releases every day. I think it should be in tandem. So go in the weight room, get your lift in, and then after you should hit the field, get some footwork in. And also you need to be well conditioned in football because a lot of times there's a lot of long drives. They keep converting on third down. So you got to be very in good condition because you don't want to be tired at the end of the drive when it means the most when they're in the red zone about to score. You're tired. So, I think it's definitely important to have a good balance. I think that once you get to a good weight where you can keep that weight on, and if you're not struggling to keep the weight on and you're strong enough, that's when you can start going to really taking care of your body, being more flexible, stretching more flexible in your joints, and then you can start honing in on your technique and craft more with footwork and drills and stuff like that.
Yeah,
that's great. And the second question was sort of about, you talked about film. I was going to say, how often do you have sort of team film sessions, and how often, like when you're watching Thursday night is Chiefs versus they're not playing I can't remember who they're playing on Thursday night football, but when you're watching NFL games, are you sort of thinking, are you envisaging yourself in this scenario, like envisaging the cornerback's role, the defensive lineman's role in that scenario? Like, how do you approach watching game now that you're, getting to that level?
Yeah, it's always fun to watch NFL games, and I remember it's like my sophomore year when I could watch an NFL game. Oh, okay, that was quarters. They're in quarters right there. Oh, they're running cover two right there. It's cool to see how the NFL they're really good at disguising. That's and really with the safety, the quarterback wants to see what the safety do. Are they rolling, to cover one, playing man, or are they too high, playing cover four? So I always try to see how the safeties are disguising things. Try to call out the coverage of the defense. The D linemen, they run a whole bunch of stunts. I don't even know all the stunts. But I try to see what gaps are in, where the linebackers are lined. Then, go look at the offense. Maybe it's a condensed set, so they want to spread it out. They're going to run spacing or mesh or something like that. Or it's, oh, they got trips to one side and receiver backside. They're probably going to run a fade. They want to target. They just want to isolate the receiver backside because they probably think they got a good matchup. So it's really cool to watch NFL now. When you know what's going to happen and you understand the
Yeah,
game. Um,
yeah,
but then sometimes I like to just, at least for like college football, I really just turn my brain off and just like enjoy just watching college football. Especially when we have
yeah,
later games in the hotel. I'm just watching games before we go play. Like maybe like some tackling or just running back made a good move. Oh, what would I do if I was in that situation? Or college, there's a lot of trick plays. So receiver throwbacks and a whole bunch of tricky stuff. So it's like, oh, what would I do in this situation and stuff like that. So I definitely love watching college football, NFL football, and yeah, just seeing what would I do in certain situations.
yeah. So if I ask my question, I would just add to that. Like, I feel like I'm a huge fan of college football. I'm a huge fan of NFL, but I'm not going to go, start with your game yesterday. Like you beat, the team yesterday, and I look at that game. It was one play where your QB, which we're gonna get into that later. I don't know if y'all seen it. He literally just stood, and it's like people made a joke that he could have gone back to the crib, come back. He just had so much time in the pocket before he, made that throw. And I feel like one thing about the you know, NFL and the difference between is not only are they much bigger, but they really know how to, do these like tackling, do tackle. So for example, like that play, like Nick Bosa is gonna kill him. You know what I'm saying? Like Michael Parsons is gonna get at him. He's not gonna let him have that. Like it's not a slight on the QB because if I'm a QB and I see that much space, I'm like, oh damn, like
Yeah,
I'm a chill, in the
yeah,
pocket. Like it's not everybody that gonna scramble. So I feel like that's the difference I see with college and like the NFL. It's like obviously everybody could drop the ball and like skill position receivers, but you gonna see less of that in the NFL than you gonna see in college. And the tackling is gonna be better in so you're a grown ass man. Like some receiver, I think it was Kitan Oladapo or something like that. He was like the ref told him like, yo, bro, like it's men you going against. It's really you going against men. So it's not no little boys in college. But
hmm
speaking of, difference between the college and NFL, like I heard you have an interview, you went through the process a little bit, you heard some feedback from teams. And I just want to ask, like you ultimately decided to come back. When did you decide to come back? And I know the off season, so when you get off at like, let's say you start training camp before you decided to come back, how does that change your off-season preparation if you're thinking about I'm going to prepare for a sixth season or I'm going to prepare for the combine? How does that,
yeah. It was tough. So after our bowl game, December 17th, I had agent meetings for like 2 weeks. So like the end of December, I was ready to make my decision and pick an agent, and then we got the news about DJ. I called some teammates, called some coaches, talked to my family. And at the end of the day, what really sold me was I can only do one twice. Or I can only do one thing right now. I can go to the
yeah,
NFL in a year, but I can only come back for my sixth season once. So
yeah,
really just thinking about what a sixth season could do for me. At that time I wasn't graduated yet. I graduated this spring. So come back, graduate, come back, raise my draft stock, last year the Pac-12, because USC at that time, it was only USC and UCLA leaving.
we'll talk
Um
about that.
yeah, so it was like the last year of the Pac-12. One more year in college, and the NFL loves youth. They love youth, but I'm like, what is one more year? One more year can't really hurt me, and especially with COVID. There's a lot more 5th, 6th, 7th year guys now.
100%.
So I'm thinking my coaches, if I didn't think I could come back and get better, I would have just took my shot. So I was projected anywhere from the 3rd to 5th, and that's a good grade. But really thinking about being a day 1 or day 2 guy, round 1 or round 2, that could change your life. It's the crazy difference in round 1 or round 2 from round 4, round 5. Not just money, but just how much chances you get, the opportunities you get once you get into the NFL. So that's really what I was thinking. And then I'm thinking about one more year in college, with my teammates. We just finished our stadium, so I think all the other things were just leaning me on more and more to come back. And then I told my mom, like, I want to come back. She's like, yeah, I knew you were gonna do it. I knew you were going to. I was like, whatever. But yeah, my heart was telling me to come back. But as far as like preparing for the NFL, it's preparing for NFL and preparing for a 6th season in college is completely different. Because if I would have picked my agent at the end of December, then I would have trained for a month, and then I was going to go to the Shrine Bowl. I wasn't invited to the Reese's Senior Bowl, so I was going to go to play a bowl game first week of February. Then I got to go back, train some more. Then the combine is the first week of March. Then I got to go do the combine. Then after the next month, you're preparing for the draft, really, in your pro day. If you didn't like your times at the combine, your pro days in March, you go back to your school and you can improve your times, and teams will come out and look at you, do drills. So that's March. And then after, teams can ask you to come out to visits, they'll do physicals on you and stuff like that, evaluate you. And then the draft is in April. So then you get drafted, blah, blah, blah. Then you start going to mini camp, May. So it would have been the next off time would have been after that season, because then you got mini camp, training camp, and all that, then OTAs, and then you're in the season. Then you're in the NFL season, and then you wouldn't have a break till after. College is a little different. You got winter workouts, spring ball. Then you get like spring break off. Then you just have class until June. June you get a little break, then doing summer workouts, and then you start fall camp in August, and then your season. So you get a little more free time. It's more lenient preparing for the college season. You're not taking it off. You just get more, more time to yourself. You shouldn't take any breaks. Still working on your craft. 100%. But if you're doing mini camp and all that stuff, it's more tedious to really take care of your body, because once you're in the NFL, you can't take days off. You can't take practices off. They'll just cut you. They'll find a guy to replace you quick. And especially, it's NFL's a business. If they can bring in a guy who's younger, pay him less money, they're going to do that for sure.
Facts.
So it's just, you really have to be on your P's and Q's when you're in the NFL. So another thing, I went through the agent process, so I kind of already was cool with, what I wanted to do. I know where I wanted to train at. I understood like what I have to do for the combine and the pro day and all that stuff. So there's a lot of things that were on the table that I really wanted to do. Like, Oregon State has never been to the Pac-12 championship. They've never won a Pac-12 championship. They've never been to a Pac-12 once they made it to the Pac-10. So there's a lot of things on the table. Being All-American, win the Jim Thorpe. That's the best DB in college. Even last year, I was Associated Press is like a news article or whatever. A whole bunch of, I didn't even know who's in that, but they said I was first team conference. But the coaches put me at honorable mention, so I felt kind of disrespected by that. So I wanted to come back and show them, that I'm really a first team type of player.
Let them know.
Maybe Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Year. There's a lot of things I wanted to do. And coming back to Oregon State, I knew I would have to up my play. Like, I'd have to play better than I did last year. And if I didn't think I could do that, I would have just took my shot at the NFL. But I know what I'm capable of. I can take care of my body, come back, play better, raise my stock, and then everything that comes with that. I think it was just a win-win for me, honestly.
100%.
That leads on nicely to something I wanted to ask, which is about individual achievements. Because I know you were part of the I don't know how to pronounce it, but the Bronco Nagurski Trophy watch list.
Yeah,
and
that was good.
The Pac-12, you were Player of the Week. Like those individual accomplishments, how much do they A, motivate you beforehand, and B, after you've achieved them, is there a sense of accomplishment, or is there a sense of, jobs not finished, hunger, onto the next one, just to, keep mounting them?
Yeah, I mean, watch list, that's only even like preseason first team, that's just talk until you actually get it. I don't really pay attention to those until I, win the award. Just put your head down and work. If you do your job, you make your plays, you're gonna get it. And then you can, at the end of the season, oh yeah, look back and I did this, I did that. So it's really just a week to week. Even San Jose State had a good game, good win, but it's on to the next. Take it week by week, face his opponent, just trying to prepare every week. As far as play of the week, it's always good to get recognized when you have a good game. But if I don't get play of the week, I don't let it discourage me. If I thought I was supposed to get player of the week, or if I had better stats than this guy, I never let it discourage me. It's always when my coach it's always a competition with yourself. How good can I be? Kitan Oladapo, how good can I be this week? Let me just better my performance than I did last week. Not trying to compare myself. Oh, he did that. Everyone has different skills, different advantages. So it's just focusing on the small things that I can, critique in my game and improve in my game.
That's great. Uche, do you want to ask the DJ question? He kind of already touched on it.
Yeah. So speaking of coming back, listen, man, I go to Boston College, man. We, Clemson, they did us bad in the past a lot of times. So, we played against DJ. So it's huge, I talked about that throw. That's a great quarterback. And I like, what role did you play, or bringing him to Beaver State, and then what do you see Oregon doing with him as your quarterback?
He all on his own. He wanted to come to Oregon State. I called him after he committed, so he was already going to go, regardless of my decision. He likes the coordinator. He likes Coach Smith. He likes our scheme. It's kind of like a pro style offense. Preparing him for the next level, because that was a big thing with him. He wanted to get prepared, raise his draft stock, and go to the NFL. So, and he's competitive. He's a good leader. He just wanted to win, and the same thing with me. I just want to win too. So we were on the same page in that sense. But yeah, he came to Oregon State all by himself. I'm happy he did. He's a good player, and even just like looking at that play, that's probably the biggest difference in the NFL and colleges is the offense and is the lineman.
That's 100%.
A three-man rush in the NFL that could get home, but they were only sending 3 on that play, so they're dropping 8, which kind of makes the play look worse, because if you're dropping 8, how are guys that open in the backfield? But DJ's a great addition to the team. Good leader. He's big arm, big guy. He can run the ball. He holds guys accountable. If guys are not doing the right thing, or he's not running the routes how he likes them, he'll get on guys, and he likes to put guys in the right positions, and he's a good leader for the team.
100%. So I just want to touch on that, because you feel me, like the way you talking right now, I might, I think I could really do this DB thing, man, because we all had the same type answer. You could ask him before we even got on this. So speaking about the lineman, listen, the skill positions are great. Everybody loves that receiver, everybody loves that corner, but championship really won in the trenches. So I feel like the difference between like even D1, D2, D3 is just those positions. So that's perfect for going to my next question. So the elephant in the room, Pac-12, Deion Sanders, that's my favorite NFL player all time, corner. See, I'm a gritty grind defense, man. He gonna lock up. Another thing about that corner argument is an ability for a corner to really say, yo, this whole side of the field, done. It's my shit, man. You feel me? And some of the greatest, like, we're talking about Deion, talking about Michael Irvin, those days where he like, yo, bro, like, anything that's coming is going down. Anything you throwing up, I'm throwing it down. So we talking about Colorado. Like, is that a game that you see on the you see on the calendar? You like, yeah, I'm gonna turn up. I'm gonna really turn up. And Deion. So speak on the impact of Deion, college football as a whole. I don't even want to say Pac-12 because they're leaving after this year. So speak on the impact of Deion, and speak on about, after you praise him, tell me what you're going to do to him when you when you see him.
Yeah. Oh, well, first off, I love honestly, just seeing a black man as a head coach, that's just, I think that's good for the sport. If you look at all the NFL coaches, only like 2 black head coaches, so or maybe 3 people of color as head coaches.
Yeah.
I think New
Off
York
the top
Jets,
of my head, Mike Tomlin. I'm struggling to
Mike
think of anyone.
Tomlin on the Steelers.
Yeah.
The New York Jets, I think he's Muslim. I think the head coach, I think he's Middle
Oh,
Eastern.
Robert Salah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then am I missing? The
Who else?
Detroit Lions he used to be black. So maybe there's like 2 or 3. We're probably missing one. But
Let me check.
just first of all, just seeing a black man be confident. He's not talking how other coaches talk. So I love seeing that. He's getting at reporters. I think it's good for the sport. Just seeing a black man lead black men, because there's 75%, 80% in the locker room is black. So I think it's really good to see a leader, and he's not a traditional or conventional coach, and he's been in their shoes. He's an NFL guy, the greatest corner of all time. He's a great leader, and I think he has a lot of patience, especially going to Colorado. They went going to 1-11 last year. I didn't believe the hype. I personally thought they were going to lose to TCU. So I have to eat my words, and I do respect them because that was a good game. They put up a good fight. TCU should have been ranked 17, but that's whatever. But now, they look good. I love being competitive. Before the season, it wasn't looking at the Colorado game. I'm like, I don't need to worry about that game. I'm not worried about Colorado at all. But after that, I like being a competitive. I'm glad, that they have some talent, and they're putting it together. Because we play at Colorado. I love to go to Colorado, pick off Shador, and hit the high step in Dion's face. I love to do that.
That's the caption. That's the caption for this video.
Yeah.
I need to see that chainsaw come back. I need to see that chainsaw.
Oh yeah.
Stand on it. Stand on it.
Even Colorado Stadium, like, when I tell you, we're literally, my couch is the bench. The fans, the railings right here, the fans can reach over. That's how close, like, the sidelines are real tight, and that's how close they are. Because we played at Colorado 2021, and we were sitting on the bench, and some fans like, "Hey, can I get a towel?" It's like, bro, move. What are you talking about? We're playing a game right now. So fans are chirping and all that stuff. So, I'm looking forward to a Colorado game. I look forward to every game, honestly. I just want to go out there and compete against the best. So I'm glad that they're looking good. It's good for the Pac-12, even though it's going to end. At first, going into the season, and even someone at Media Day asked me this. She kind of set me up. But she's like, "What are your feelings on Colorado?" I'm like, and I was like, I'll just be honest, because I don't really care. I was like, I'll be surprised if they make a bowl game. If they win 5 to 6 games, I'll be. That's probably where I thought it, like 5 games. Now I think they definitely can make a bowl game. I'll eat my words. They're looking good. They have a lot of transfers. A lot of good players that they brought in. I think he's doing a good job of just restarting the culture, resetting the standard there. Just knowing that, like, when you come here, you're here to work. Here to do your job. It's
luggage.
Yeah,
luggage.
It's Louis. We come.
Louis luggage.
So it's good to see that, and it reminds me of like Oregon State, because we went 2-10 my freshman year, of resetting the standard, resetting the atmosphere. Just having a whole different mindset across the board, and just building a good culture and in a good organization, a good program. So I'm always going to respect that. Them turning around a program and being able to compete with the best.
That's what's up. You mentioned about the fan with the towel, and that it just popped into my head. Like, how do you? I don't say deal with the fame, but like, how do you sort of deal with your approach to media requirements? Because there's a lot of, as your level goes up, as you get better, obviously you get more attention, more media requirements, and I imagine you must have signed an autograph at some point. Like, how did you feel like inside when the first time somebody recognized you in public, it was like, yo, like, and started chopping it up, asked you for something? Like, how does it feel, like, truly?
Yeah, it feels good. I remember it was 2022. Well, so COVID year, we didn't have fans at the Oregon game, but this past year, we beat Oregon. We came back, down 31-10, and all the fans are rushing up after. So it's always great to see fans, so excited, and especially with Beaver fans that are loyal, that have been through the mud. It means a lot to them. So it's always great, and the little kids are coming up. Even this little kid asked me, "Hey, can I get your towel for the game?" I'm like, it's sweaty. He's like, "I don't care." I was like, all right. I gave my towel. They all asked for gloves. I gave them gloves. I gave a couple kids cleats. It's great, signing jerseys, signing hats and stuff. So, it makes me feel good, that guys are supporting me. And one of my teammates, I took a picture with his mom. She's like, "Yeah, I'm like, can you take a picture of my mom?" She's like, "You're like your favorite player." So that that means the world to me. And it's always funny. She's like, "Yeah, like if my son wasn't on the team, he'd be my favorite player." Blah blah. So that's just it's just funny stuff like that. And it's always great that fans are interacting. Even so, this last week, San Jose, yesterday, high fiving guys going into halftime, and one of his fans like, "Hey, can I get your gloves?" And I just stopped him like, "It's halftime. If I give you my gloves, what am I going to play with the rest of the game?" He just looked at me and said, "Oh." I was like, "Yeah," and then I just walked away. But no, I like messing with fans too. Though I asked for one time I had tape, just tape, and he's like, "Can I get your tape?" I was like, "You don't want this tape. It's just tape."
They just want to ask for
I just tape on my
anything.
ring. He's like, "I'll just take anything." He's like, "Can I get your legging?" Like I had tights on. He's like, "Can I get your tights?" I'm like, "Bruh," like what? This kid's like, "Let me get your cleats. Let me get your cleats." I'm like, "No. You can't have my cleats. You can't even fit them. You're gonna hold on to them for like, no, you can't have my cleats. I'm sorry." So no, it always makes me feel good when guys ask for autographs. And as far as media and interviews, I still be getting nervous because I'm trying to filter myself, not saying anything crazy.
I saw the one when you said yes, sir.
Yeah. Sometimes my brain's just on autopilot. So a lot of times when I'll be like, I was watching my interview from yesterday, and I'm just like, "Yep, just locked into the question," because my brain is processing. Sometimes my brain be going all over, processing, eliminating bad answers, things I can't say, because they asked one reporter I hate his questions. His questions is always bad. So he asked us, "Did you guys have any fear going to the game? Like, was there anything you were scared of?" Blah blah blah. I was like, in my head, I'm like, what do you want me to say? Yes, I was scared. I was shivering in my boots.
Like, what's
I didn't
the
believe
answer?
my teammates. I'm like, bro, like, come on. And then he asked about, "Oh, you saw how San Jose State, because they played USC the week before. They played USC, blah, blah, blah. You saw their defensive play, blah, blah." I'm like, in my head, I want to say, I already knew we were better than USC's defense. I didn't need that proves it today, but I knew that before. You just probably didn't believe. Yeah. But, I had to give a good, political answer.
A politically correct answer.
Yeah. So I think the only thing I struggle with is really just filtering myself, especially after games. I'm tired. And I just played football for 3.5, 4 hours, talking crazy. So now I got to tighten up a little bit, and just give good answers. I try not to say a lot or and try to give good answers and not just be repetitive or be cliche or corny. So I'm always trying to get better at that. And a lot of times you see guys in certain interviews, they might say something crazy, get fined after. So I'm always trying to filter myself and say the best thing possible, But yeah, it's kind of tough. I've been getting nervous. It's really just two people there, but it's when they get the cameras in your face, like they this close the cameras in your face, mics in your face. They got flashing lights. It's tough sometimes.
Yeah, that should be looking crazy. But yeah,
I can't imagine it. And obviously, you do such a good job because obviously you can't afford one slip up. When you have 100 perfect interviews, it takes one slip up and suddenly it's a big issue. So you've always got to maintain the standard. So I respect that. And a little bit, you sort of talked about USC and not really, or knowing that you're better. And on the note of sort of rivalry and in your head, because in your head you're always the best because you have to think that way. I'm not sure if you ever cross paths with Justin Herbert, but the Oregon Ducks obviously one of your big rivals. Are there any personal rivalries you have that when you see the schedule, like, yeah, number 32 on this team?
I need him.
I need him. Not really. Justin Herbert, 2019. So my freshman year, we played him. I wasn't playing though. He's a really good college quarterback. With like the Oregon game, every time, so we play Oregon last, our 12th game of the season. So I kind of just tucked that in the back of my head because I know historically Oregon's always my best game, and I'm always gonna have enough fuel motivation because I hate them. So I know I'm always gonna get after him. It doesn't matter who it is. You're wearing that jersey, so I don't like
Yo,
it. So it's
yo,
beef off the bat
yeah,
on site. When I see you,
it's up.
so
And
yeah, so
is there a
always
lot
talking
of
crazy.
in games like that? Is there a lot of trash talk? Or do you kind of just focus on? Do you talk before players, after players? Like Lucas said, everybody's tough when they're up. But
Yeah,
like, are you chirping throughout, or what's it like actually on the field?
yeah, yeah. I don't really have like personal rivalries, and I'm not really a big talk. I really probably talk crazier to the refs because we're Oregon State. We always get the worst calls. We always get, we never get the benefit of the doubt. But there's always more shoving after the play, chirping after the play against Oregon, against other rivals. USC is kind of our not a rival, but like we hate them. We hate them a
Yeah,
lot. So we'll talk crazy. If it's cool when guys are like nice, some of the linemen will be nice. All right, let's chill. All right, good tackle or good block. Yeah, yeah. But it's always like the receivers or running backs, talking crazy to you. And at first I really just look him in the eye like huh? So I'll bring up this one moment against Jordan Addison last year against USC. It was like a run play and Caleb scrambling, he's running out, and I'm running a tackle and he tries to block me and I just hit him. I'm like, I didn't even care about the ball. I just went after him. He's like, yeah, I like that. I was like, I don't care. I don't care what you like. I don't care. So I will talk a little bit Oregon. It's more just like little corny stuff that I'll say, slick stuff that I'll say. Uh, so we were playing Cal last year and they were in a screen and we tackled it, blah blah blah, and then one of their coaches on the sideline, even the coach can get it, I don't care. The coach was like, he's holding, blah blah, and then I mocked him. I was like, he's holding, shut up. And we started laughing. So me and my teams, we like to have fun out there. Even San Jose State, they motioned the tight ends in, and now it's legal to push the quarterback from behind. So they just push the quarterback for a QB sneak. I'm like, oh, that's so soft. The ref's like, it's legal. I'm like, I know it's legal. It's just soft as hell. That's all I'm saying. It's soft.
yeah,
So I'm thinking back to 2 years ago when we played in the LA Bowl, and the refs were making a lot of bad calls. I'm like, dang, like how much did Jimmy Kimmel pay y'all? Like, or I'll be like, oh, did y'all you went to USC? Like, so I'll say smart stuff like that. But usually I'm really not talking. I'm just trying to catch my breath. I really let my play talk. I really don't talk that crazy. Unless like you push over my teammate or you do something to my team, and then I'll talk crazy.
And then
So Silas got tackled, one of our receivers got tackled on the sideline, after the play, and he was on the ground. And we all like got around him, like, yeah, get your soft ass up, man. So yeah, we'll do a little small stuff like that. But yeah.
It feels like there's a real team feel. I guess you're going to war with your brother, so it makes sense when you say like, if somebody you almost get more angry when something happens to one of your boys than yourself. In a way, in that sense. And just quickly for Uche asks the next question, you mentioned Jordan Addison. Do you see, obviously Adam Thielen's gone now, so he's going to be wide receiver 2 for the Vikings. Do you see that and be like, I covered him, like if I can cover, like does that give you motivation? Does that spur you on? Is it like, okay, I've covered him and him, they're going here, they're doing this, so does that just give you that reassurance that like you belong at that level?
Yeah, for sure. And even some of my teammates that have previously gone to the NFL, talking to them, like it's the same thing. You just got to get in your playbook and know your keys. Just elevate your mental, really. Like your skill set is capable of being in the NFL, and going into like my senior year, I'm seeing guys my age getting drafted. I'm like, dang, I'm better than him, blah, blah, blah. He's getting drafted, he's playing in the NFL. I'm better than so I think just confidence. That's really what it is. Knowing you can do it, going out there and really just putting on tape, because it's effort only goes so far. It's just, can you execute? Can you do your assignment every play, and consistency? Every game you got to be at your best. You always got to reevaluate yourself. Reevaluate your resume, and keep putting good stuff on tape.
yeah. So just before I go to my question, listen, man, I love Jordan Addison. I hope he gets have a great year. But number 2, man, they got this man right there called KJ Osborne. He is cold, bro. He is cold. You chill on that number 2. You feel me? You gotta really earn that shit. But you speak. So I just look at you, right? You talk about, the chainsaw. I mean, we seen the chainsaw. We're gonna get into that later. The hair, I've seen it in orange. I've seen it in, and you talk about not really trying to trash talk interviews. So one of my, favorite interviews I remember is Richard Sherman, right? Where he says, like, yo, like, that's what you get if you put that sorry ass receiver Michael Crabtree on me when the Seahawks played the 49ers at like 2013, 2014 NFC Championship. And the interview lady asked him, like, he said, yo, like, you put that sorry ass receiver on me. Like, so I feel like, so that's going to go to my question, right? Obviously you leaving and, affected you for like 2 years, but the NIL opportunities, right? When you have somebody like that, people like, yeah, like, I want his jersey, he be talking that shit. He got the orange hair, he got all of that JV and the chainsaw. So what do you think? Obviously we want to see y'all get paid, but how do you think the NIL opportunity affects recruiting? It's almost like, yeah, it's almost like a second, like a lower NFL when players are deciding, like, yo, listen, man, like, that team has better NIL opportunities for me. So what's your take on that?
So it's tough when NIL first came out and they changed the transfer rules with COVID. So when you transfer in conference or out of conference, you don't have to sit out a year anymore. You could play right away. As well as when you redshirt, you can still play in 4 games in redshirt. So everyone wants to transfer. Oh, I don't like my coach, blah, blah. You can transfer. Oh, they're going to give me this much money over there. I'm going to transfer. So it's crazy. It's good and bad. It's good that, players and student athletes are able to get money and all that stuff. You should be able to squeeze all the money out of the university. On the other hand, it's like we came here to play football. We came here to win games, So at the end of the day, I think that kind of skews guys' mental a little bit, like, oh, I'm better than him, but he's getting more money than me, or I'm better. I put more work in than him, but he's getting all these endorsement deals and all that stuff. So I think if your mental's not strong, it can, waver. You really like accountability, and it could not destroy a locker room, but it could cause some issues in the locker room. Guys being jealous of other people.
Yeah.
I'm making more plays than him, but he's getting all this money, blah, blah. He's getting all this recognition. So as far as recruiting, it's tough for for Oregon State out of Pac-12. It's easy for UCLA, USC, Oregon.
Nice.
Oregon with Nike. It's easy for them to recruit. They got all this money. So we're one of the bottom 3 teams on revenue over a football season. So we make like the bottom 3 least money over a football season. So all these other schools are making more money than us. I feel like their donors are more involved in NIL because that's really it is. Your donors are coming back, giving money to the players. You see Bijan Robinson, at Texas. They got Bugatti dealership, the owner went to Texas. CJ Stroud got a G-Wagon because the G-Wagon dealership owner went to Ohio State. So, it's a lot of stuff like that. So you can really get swayed either way. I think it's tough, man. It's good and bad. It's tough for smaller schools. Even like coming to Corvallis, you're not going to get as much in NIL, so it's tough to still go out there and recruit 4 or 5 stars. But I think that's just the Oregon State way. We don't always get the 4 or 5 stars. We get the 3 stars, development guys and really hard workers, put their head down and grind, and then in a couple years, they're great starters. So I think it's tough for us to compete with the Oregons, the USCs, and all these, even like the SEC in general, just making all this money. Like it's so it's definitely going to be tough, especially with this conference realignment. Yeah, it's going to be tough. I was talking to one of my coaches, and even some recruits will come here and they're like, "Yeah, I'm not going to come here unless I get like $100K." I said, "Huh? $100K what?
$100K what?"
And then 16, 15-year-olds, coach, I'm not going to come here unless you give me this amount of money. I'm not, because they offer me this. I will hang up on a 16-year-old. You're not.
I'm still getting scared that they're not playing for the love of the game, because obviously you have to be passionate to put in the work and get to that level. But at the same time, that shouldn't be your sole motivator. The money will come. Like, obviously, you want what you're worth. You should get what you're worth. But to have that expectation when you haven't proven anything at that level is crazy. I think I can't remember if it was KG or somebody was saying about NBA players and a lot of young players getting these massive extensions and deals, and they have all these endorsements before they get to the league, so they feel accomplished. Like the whole Jalen Green sort of generation, these second, third year players, they're in their heads they're superstars before they've actually made the playoffs, for instance. So yeah, I get what you're saying. That's 100K is
that definitely
crazy.
translates to college as well, because even Tennessee, they had this the Polynesian quarterback got like a $1 million deal to Tennessee. He didn't play his senior year in high school because, I mean, when you're worth $1 million, I guess, yeah, you don't have to play your senior year. It's just the mindset we're instilling in these kids, and it's tough to say like don't do that, because like, yeah, you should get your money's worth. And some guys are not going to league. It's hard to get to league. So guys that I'm just in college football, like, yeah, I should get most of my money, most of my years, make the most of it. So it's tough to say like don't. It's tough. It's tough.
Yeah. I feel like just to wrap up, I feel like there should be a cap. So if we're gonna make it like a professional league, when we talk about salary and the whole NIL endorsement thing, it's like a fancy term for salaries. Players that have NIL opportunities. It just means I'm going to this place, I'm going to Bama, which they're gonna pay me more. So now it's kind of hidden. So I just feel like the NCAA, the reason why, especially for basketball, I watch a lot of college basketball, the reason why they implemented the NIL was to battle, leagues like the G League. People were going to the G League to get paid. So if you're going to, basically say NIL opportunities, you should have a cap. So, people can't just pay players to play. But, it's still a new thing, and we're going to see it develop. They might scrap it. They might, I'm for it. I feel it has more positives than negatives. But, so we come, close to the end of the big questions. We just have a lot of quick fire questions for you. Pre-game meal. Pre-game meal.
So pre-game meal, at least the day of the game, it's probably like pasta and some fruit, because we're just eating at the hotel. But the day before, I had some fried chicken and some fries, and they were busing. And then one of my teammates, she brought his mom brought Jamaican food. They had some mac and cheese and some oxtail, and it was going crazy. It was busing. So the day before the game, my dinner is probably my nutrition. My nutritionist hates it because she's like, "What's in the bag?" I'm like, "Don't worry about it. You're not gonna like what's in my bag." But the day before the game, we played at 12:30, so I just had breakfast. I had an omelet, some hash browns. Did some fruit. So I try to if it's a later game, I try to go light breakfast and a good lunch. If it's early game, I'll just go big breakfast.
And just quickly on the nutritionist, like, what point did you start going like, okay, like if my aspiration is league, like I got to take my body seriously, like I got to really watch what I eat? Or is it kind of just get as many calories? Obviously, you have certain windows like after a game where they advise just eat as much as you can. So how does it? Yeah, like at what point did you really start keying on? Okay, I need to feed my body X, Y, and Z.
Probably like my junior year, when I was like, yeah, I really need to keep up. Once I had to start stretching before I play like basketball or do anything, I'm like, okay, I'm not young no more. And that's when I started taking treatment really seriously. Like I got to watch what I intake in my body, but also I'm on the fence because I like eating a lot, eating whatever I want. My metabolism, I'm young. So might as well eat as much as I can right now. So I think right now is more just get 3 solid meals in a day. But once I get to the league, I'm definitely going to start cutting out. I don't eat fast food that much, but eating healthier, eating more greens and stuff like that.
And just to say, my brain keeps going to different places. You mentioned basketball. Like, do you still hoop? Like, do you ever just go outside and hoop with friends, or like, is it kind of, just football?
During the summer, during the off season, I'll go hoop. At a rec center, hoop with some of my teammates. But not during the season. Okay. No, I'm chilling during the season.
Yeah, it's not worth the risk. I understand. And pre-game, back to the pre-game music. Is there certain songs? Dreams and Nightmares is a big one in football. Like, what are your go-to?
It's really vibes. It's how I'm feeling. Like yesterday, like in the morning, I'm turning up. I was playing some Mingos. I was playing some Young Boy, some Lil Uzi. I'm turning up. And then bus, I'm probably more chill. I was playing some Thames, some Burna Boy on a bus, maybe some Wizkid. When I hit the field, For warm up, some Turn Up Again, some Young Thug, maybe some Gunna, some Future, maybe some Drake. It's really just my vibe that day. One of my teammates was listening to some Sade. I'm like, that's some good vibes. I might try that this week. He's listening to No Ordinary Love. I was like, okay, I like what you're thinking. So it's really vibes. It's really just how I'm feeling.
Yeah.
And who gets on the aux in the change room? Who decides who gets on the aux in the changing room?
Oh, so we have a rule on game day. It's just headphones. You're not playing over the loudspeaker.
Okay.
But if it's practice, guys will hop on aux. They'll play music before practice, or we're chilling. Guys are in the cold tub and all that stuff. So, but on game day, it's just your headset.
Headphones, strict, yeah. 5 dinner guests that are alive.
5 dinner guests.
Anybody?
Okay, off rip, I'm gonna say Kev Hart. I'm gonna say Kevin Hart. That's gonna Kevin Hart, Drewski. It's good.
3 more. That's a funny table. It's gonna be a funny
as you said, the comedy section is sorted already.
For dinner, I want straight jokes, but I just want to have a good time. That's a good question. I'm trying to think of some actors that I would love to pull up. That's really good. Let me think. I'm thinking of so many. Who else would I want to pull up to dinner? Maybe like DC Young Fly.
DC Young Fly. Okay.
DC Young Fly.
Straight comedy.
Maybe yeah, we're just jokes all the time. Maybe like Drake. Drake's would be for sure.
One more.
Drake's picking up the tab, so that's a good.
Oh yeah, that's a good. Drake. I'm around the way. I'm leaving with something. Drake is giving me something. Who we going with last? I'm trying to think of really funny. Maybe like Vince Staples, because Vince Staples, he probably wouldn't pull up to the dinner, but he's hilarious to dinner because Vince Staples is really funny.
Yeah,
I hear it.
Yeah.
The next question, it's got to be the hair. Orange is not a color you see every day. Is it something that you sort of, is it depending on how you're feeling? Is it like just a way of expressing yourself? Like, how much do you pride the hair, and like what's the reasoning behind it? I started
with COVID. I had this big box, and that's when my mom started dyeing her hair. So I dyed my box blonde, and it was huge. My uncle or my grandpa was like, it looks like a sponge. He thought it was a teapot. He thought I was wearing a hat. Started getting jokes, so I thought it was kind of funny. And then I cut it off, and then I just started dyeing all types of colors. I've gone blue, gone like silver, platinum blonde, like kind of white. I've gone brown. So I'm gonna do pink in October, for breast cancer. So it's really my vibe, how I'm feeling. And yeah, I think it's fun. I think it's cool. I'm really into anime, so I think it's kind of cool to look like an anime character with different hair. Orange, for the Beavs, wearing orange. I went purple just this past in fall camp. So that was really cool. I think it's just fun thing to do.
Yeah. I hear it. Like my dad always sends, because obviously anytime there's a family event or something, my dad sends pictures of you guys to our group chat, and I can't remember the last time I saw you with black hair. There's always every time is a different color. But I thought that's cool that there's actually intention and like there's actually thought behind it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. I feel like anytime I've seen that with Marcus Smart, it's always some story behind it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we definitely want. Thank you, man. Like, listen, man, it's a huge thing you did for us. We appreciate you. I'm in Paris right now. The time is 3:24 in the morning, so this shit is really grind. You really on this. He's an hour behind.
We were ready to do 4. You said 7 initially, so we were setting alarms to get up
5:30. Man, so we really appreciate you.
That's dedication.
Nah, bro, for sure, for real, man. We really trying to get this shit up, man. So we appreciate you doing this. But one more question, and before you answer, you got to keep in mind you have to help us with the answer, right? So, who would you like to see next on this podcast? Who would you like to see next on this podcast? Keep in mind, you gotta help us get this man on this podcast.
Oh, what else? You guys are actually
Quarterback.
I really enjoyed this interview a lot better than any of the reporters that asked me questions. They're actually like,
That's
entertaining
the biggest
questions.
compliment we've had so far. So
Yeah, no, reporters in college in the NFL, they be asking dumb questions. I'd be hella bad. Honestly, any of my teammates to hop on this,
DJ.
I'll hit him up. I'll hit him up to try to set that up.
I was thinking about that.
I was like, I know the right answer, but not any of my teammates hopping on here.
Sure.
Any other college players? Yeah, if I can help, I'm gonna try to set up with DJ.
For sure, man.
But nah, y'all ask great questions, intriguing questions that really make me think.
Yeah.
That are entertaining, that are not just boring, mundane questions that everyone asks. So definitely appreciate that.
Yeah.
No, it's always a pleasure. Zone 6, we've only just turned 6 months old, and obviously football, soccer, and basketball have usually been the focus, but we're the two NFL heads. For me, it's this upcoming year. I don't know how much I'm going to be able to tune in because obviously Red Zone is usually like 6 p.m. here, but those later games are like 1, 2 a.m. and that's,
yeah.
I have to pick between my degree. At some point, I have to make a business decision. But for now, it's
why I don't watch soccer.
Because it's so early in the morning.
Yeah. Not waking up that early.
Yeah,
and to me, sometimes soccer is boring. I like soccer. I like highlights. To me, sometimes soccer is boring, so I don't want to watch it. But I definitely
I get when people say that because a game can have like 2 moments. There can be 2 goals in 2 moments. Like a basketball game, there's a 3-point shot, there's a dunk, there's always something. NFL, there's a big hit, there's a touchdown. Whereas a football game can literally it can boil down to 3 moments. So I do understand that.
Yeah.
But listen,
I appreciate y'all staying up, man. I appreciate that.
Listen, man, we've come to the end of this. We say a huge thank you. And that's it from Zone 6. You can catch us on Instagram, Zone 6. You catch us on TikTok. So I want to thank you. Good luck the rest of the season. I'm gonna be tuned in. The Colorado game, we gonna be there. You feel me? You see Travis Hunter, you see what he did, man. That's you, man. We need that. You feel me?
And wherever you're going next year, you'll see the whole Zone 6 decked out in that jersey.
For sure.
That's for sure. I hope you keep 28 as well. That's for sure.
Yeah, I hope so too.